San Bernardino County Regional Parks, and we're back here at the beautiful Guasi Regional Park in Ontario. Earlier this week we did some fishing, and now we're going to show you how to prep our fish that we caught. So what you're going to do is, first thing is you're going to need some foil, some butter or margarine, some parsley, lemon or limes, a knife, salt and pepper, a bucket of water, and a heat source, whether it be a barbecue or an open fire pit. All right, let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our trout out of our freezer. Okay? First thing is we're going to rinse this off to make sure that we get off any old germs or anything that might have accumulated while it was in that freezer. So you're going to use your water source to rinse that fish off as good as you can, so that we can start prepping it to cook. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to lay it on top of our sheet of foil. Your foil should be probably about 6 inches longer than the size of your trout. This way you can wrap it nice and tight towards the end. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of our lemon slices that we have cut prior to, and we're going to squeeze some lemon juice into the cavity of our trout. Now this is going to be to taste, to flavor. If you really like lemons, do it a lot. If you don't do it so much. Also, you can use limes, so lemon and limes. Some people use oranges, grapefruit, anything citrusy will pretty much work for this particular recipe. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that into the cavity of the fish. Again, this is all to taste, so it's whatever you prefer. If you don't like salt, there's no need to put salt. If you don't like pepper, same thing, leave it out. Some people also use different things like garlic salt, seasoned salt. It's really up to you, whatever salt and spices you prefer. The next step is to add our butter. Now, we use butter, margarine. Sometimes people use vegetable oil. It's pretty much up to you guys, whatever recipe you want to follow. But you'll need some kind of oil source. What you're going to do is you're going to take that and you're going to spread that inside the cavity of your trout. Again, this is for preference. You put as much in there as you want. If you love butter, put a lot. If you don't need that much. But we're going to go ahead and add that margarine in there and spread it throughout the cavity of our trout. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of lemon wedges and we're going to place those also inside the cavity of our trout. We're going to add a lime wedge as well. This will help when you're cooking your trout for the flavor. Okay, so now I have all my ingredients inside of my trout. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up in my foil. Now when you wrap it in the foil, you're going to want to wrap it as tight as possible, and you're going to want to do it kind of like a burrito. So you're going to bring it down over the top, fold both ends in, and then you will wrap it again like a burrito. You want to make sure that there's little or no holes in your foil, because once your butter starts to melt, it'll leak out and can cause a fire. So you're going to want to make sure that there's no holes or no cracks in your foil before placing it onto the grill. Now with your grill, you're going to use a portable grill or a fire pit, but basically you're going to want it to be about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You're then going to take your foil wrapped trout, place it on each side for 10 minutes. Now this trout is about 2 pounds, so 10 minutes is perfect. If you have a larger trout or even a smaller trout, you might have to adjust the time so that you don't burn it. But this one, 2 pounds is about average, and it'd be 10 minutes on each side. So let's go ahead and throw our prep trout onto our barbecue. All right, now I went ahead and prepped one ahead of time so that you guys can see the results after it's been cooked. So this trout, again weighing about 2 pounds, was cooked with the same ingredients, butter, lemon, lime, salt, and pepper, wrapped in foil and cooked for 10 minutes on each side at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's go ahead and open up our foil and see our delicious trout. You're going to want to be careful when doing this because your foil is going to be hot, as it did just come off of the grill. Now, a good sign of a nicely cooked trout is when you peel this foil back and that skin comes off with the foil. If you notice, as I peel this foil layer back, the meat is exposed and that skin attached to the foil. That's how you know that your trout is cooked and completely ready to eat. Look at all this delicious fresh meat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my plate. Again, make sure that you peel that foil back. Grab a plate. We're going to put a little bit of garnish on our plate just to make it look fancy and pretty. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we are going to separate the fillets. To separate the fillets, you will see a nice line down the middle of your trout. This is actually their sensory line, but it also separates their muscles. So what you're going to do is at that sensory line, you're going to put your knife in the middle there and kind of chop it down. For the meat that's on the top, you're going to peel upwards. On the meat on the bottom, you're going to peel downwards. And that actually removes the meat from the bones. So let's go ahead and peel upwards and peel downwards. Now you have all this beautiful chunky meat that's able to be eaten. And you see that all of the small little bones were left onto the spine of the fish. Now, trout actually have very tiny, tiny bones, so when you're eating it, you want to be careful not to get those bones stuck in your throat. That's why you got to be very careful when you're peeling away that meat and making sure that it's clear of any bones. So now that I have my first side, all my meat is removed from my skeleton, I can go ahead and take my knife, lift up the tail portion of my fish and peel upwards, and it'll expose more of that meat on the second side of your fish. Just peel it away very easily, making sure that you're watching for any bones. Get all of that meat up and onto that plate. Again, it is separated from the skin, so we don't need to worry about that. Oh, notice I've got some bones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and make sure that I remove those bones from my platter. All right, so it looks like all of our meat has come off of our cooked trout, and we can now clean up our mess and serve our beautiful trout dinner. We'll go ahead and add a little bit more lemon juice onto this, maybe add a little bit more pepper, a little bit more salt, and it's ready to go. Thanks for joining me on how to cook a trout. We'll hope to see you guys next time. Have a great day.